Matters Green Tourism Africa Summit is underway in Nyeri. The multi-stakeholder event seeks to build a common understanding of green tourism development in Africa and to support aligning of current tourism and conservation models in the continent with sustainable development. Here's some voices from the summit.
You will hear companies that will tell you that we left the summit and made a decision that we will not use plastic bottles in our facility anymore. That is our way of giving back to the planet. You will find businesses that say that we went back and redefined how we engage with our communities. It was not a handout relationship. It became a partnership because we started to understand that they are at the core. You know, they are almost the permanent factor. Host communities are one of your permanent factors in tourism. And that's why we say in this summit that when you're planning for tourism, first plan to improve the quality of life for planet and people, and then see how that translates to numbers and revenues. When you start by planning with numbers and revenue, you end up harming people and the environment because you did not think about them. So businesses live here and change how they relate with their communities because they're not a second-hand or a second group of beneficiaries, but they're actually at the core of what they are doing.
So now to start measuring what the impact in terms of sustainability impact, is it because we want to look at the numbers of arrivals, or we look at the quality of life of people who are living in the cities or the destinations we have around East Africa? So all the participants in this meeting, we came together to understand and then actually discuss how things can be done differently, learn from each other. We are coming from different countries, from different development stages of tourism. If you look at where Kenya you are today, and then also where some countries like Burundi, Rwanda, and Tanzania and Uganda are, what can we learn from you today? And then how can you learn from each other as well?
Although over the last up to 30 years, we've had a steady growth in our tourism arrivals and also in our tourism income to contribution to GDP. That has not yet translated fully into stability in our wildlife population, considering that 80% of our tourists come to see our wildlife. And I think it's a paradox that wildlife tourism continues to grow, and even in the blueprint that has just been launched by the cabinet secretary, there is a projection that will grow up to 4 times more. Yet the wildlife that is the major resource that's attracting these tourists has been declining to rates that are exceeding 60%, which is a massive decline. And so our discussion today at the Green Tourism Summit is how can that change? How can we begin to mainstream the role of communities and the role of private landowners in our conservation circle? And how can that become part of our conservation goal and the national agenda?